No clue why that did a double dip. How you doing tonight there, Tom? Always a pleasure of having the grand man with the plan of Raider history. And I know Raider history. I do. I'm not. I'm not a. What do you call it? There's a like a. Oh, I can't remember. How do you say a squelch? I'm not a schlub. I will go with schlub. I'm not a schlub.
Or you could say Shmeezel. Shlemeasel.
Shemizel, Shemizel, Shemazel, Constant Corp. There you go. Yeah. Good. I'm glad you know the Yiddish because that's more than I do. Um, T3 is definitely a Raider historian and a really, really awesome, awesome gentleman. That I'm sorry. See, you just got me all choked up here. I'm like really, almost literally, the eyes are watering. I don't know it. It's not you, it's me, but it
Okay.
is
All
me,
right.
and it is
Gotcha.
you. But good to hear from you. And we're
Want to
gonna
say hello.
have
Want to say
an
hello to all your
opportunity.
listeners out there too.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, Clayton Heron is here, and we're gonna. I mean, he is like ecstatic. He's ecstatic. I don't know. I don't know if you know Clayton.
I don't.
He's you know how Richie Rich is like a really cool, nice Broncos fan.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a couple of them out there.
Clayton's another one.
Okay.
I said that the reason why is because Richie's from Canada and Clayton's from Wisconsin. So it's that area thing. It's the area thing. And I am like getting all I have no clue why my eyes are like this.
Well, Denver
But
fans have to be happy right now.
yes, yeah. And he'll be in talking about and because they won today, we'll be talking about
Got you.
his Broncos beating the Smugs today. So that
Yep.
made my weekend pretty all right. How about you?
Yeah, going pretty well. I mean, it's nice to go through an entire Sunday and not feel depressed. We have, of course, the game coming up tomorrow night, and we'll have to see how that shakes out. I'm hoping that they keep it close. I'm hoping that they keep it somewhat respectable. We'll see if they get run out of the building early. The trade rumor talks are certainly going to escalate even more than they already are. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I'm hoping that they can find a way to hang on to the ball more than they have and try to put together a couple of respectable drives and get the ball into the red zone a couple of times and then score. Come up with
Yeah.
touchdowns, not field goals.
Yeah, and I already got something from Facebook. Daryl Ryan said Patrick Mahomes was sick. Okay. I don't give a flying foxtrot.
He probably didn't like the snow.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And Daryl, I don't know. Like I said, if you're a Raider fan, that's great. If you're not a Raider fan, that's fine too. I don't care if he was well enough to play. He played, and you deal with injuries, you deal with illness, you deal with all of the extra stuff. So if they were saying like, "Oh, Patrick Mahomes was sick," I don't care.
Well, here's the thing. And I was on. Been trying to send my picks in weekly to the Wild West podcast, and a couple of weeks ago I called for Denver to upset Kansas City in Kansas City. Now they didn't do it, but I thought that they stood a reasonable shot to do that. And having not won that game, I figured, well, I'm going to have to go ahead and say that Kansas City is going to win until Denver proves otherwise. But Denver has proven to be a really tough out for Kansas City, much to the same extent that the Raiders have been a really tough out for them.
Yeah, and I'm hoping it continues because the Denver Broncos have never, ever, ever beaten the Las Vegas Raiders.
That is correct.
The Vegas Raiders. So for
Correct.
all those that are paying attention, and I'm hoping it continues, and it will at least continue. Oh my God, what? Why didn't you play like that last week, you schmuck from Division II, Shepherd University? Bajan
Yep.
just threw a pick.
Yep.
So I'm watching that as well.
Well, it helps when you have a good, solid, dependable defense who can actually turn the ball over.
Yeah, and there you go. I don't know. And actually, Tom, let's talk about that because I didn't get a chance to really get your thoughts on that.
Okay.
We saw the previous 2 weeks before we went into Chicago. We saw a Raider defense. I'm looking for something to wipe my eyes. Um, that had decent outings. I mean, obviously beat the Packers, beat the Patriots, and in all actuality was beating the Chargers when play calling reared its ugly head. But the defense played well in all of those games. Okay. And then last week in Chicago, I have no clue what the hell happened. Thanks, Clayton. But Clayton's over here on YouTube now. I don't know what the hell happened. Did you see something that I missed?
Well,
Well,
the
there.
defense played better against the Packers and against the Patriots, but they didn't play well. Here's the thing: for years, the tackling has been an Achilles heel for this Raiders team,
True.
and also pass defense. They'll come up with some occasional plays, but then they'll turn around. They'll give up a 76-yard, 80-yard bomb, and of course, it only takes one quick play like that to demoralize not only an entire defense, but to demoralize an entire team, particularly when you're doing it up against a team that you're supposed to win against. Now, again, I'm not diminishing the wins against Green Bay and New England, but those are games that they should have won, and they should have won pretty handily. Now, New England turned around and then had a big upset win the next week. But again, what I say is the fact that this defense has played better, but this defense still needs a lot of help. And until we get to the point where we can have a good, reliable defense that can be in the top half, and I will give you an analogy which you probably will be able to identify with, and maybe some other of the older listeners will. But the Raider defense to me seems to me to be akin to Wile E. Coyote with his claws in the precipice of the very top part of the cliff and sliding down, desperately trying to keep from falling, and just the claw marks are going all the way down the other cliff, and there's nothing you can do to stop it.
Mm-hmm. And I always love the if we're going to go there, I always love the Acme
Acme everything.
Acme bat uniform or the Acme bat wings.
Oh yeah, the bat
where
wings.
it goes like this,
Yeah,
and then he can't fly, but all of a sudden, then he learns. He's like, and everything's wonderful until he hits the
face
side of the
plants into
mountain,
the rock.
right? And then his supports, or actually, the plastic stays on the mountain, and he's left with the wires.
Right.
I'm like, wow, that's horrible. But yeah, it's we need a solid D. And I gotta ask, because I was actually and I've gone through the process. I know it's early yet of trying to think of the new staff. And I don't know if you saw it, by the way, but my buddy Big Daddy, who's been a Raiders fan for like, I don't know, but it probably as long as I have. He's in Chicago, and you check it out. It's on my Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
He's in Detroit, and there was a news guy getting ready to interview McDaniel walking into the studio, but Big Daddy was behind him, who talked to him before the news guy even got to him, and Big Daddy was saying, "Hey, I've never coached a team in my life, but I've been a football fan for 50 years, and you aren't hacking it. Your guys ain't hacking it. Your coaches aren't giving it." And McDaniels was like, he looked at the news guy because the other guy had the camera. He's like, "Who is this guy?" And it was my buddy, Big Daddy. And he's like, I guess he thought he might have been with the news guy because they were like, close in proximity. But Big Daddy just gave it to him. And McDaniels was like, "Who is this guy?" I said, "It doesn't matter who I am. It doesn't matter who I am." And then the news guy actually kind of stepped in to separate them. I don't know. I don't know where if McDaniels was done with the broadcast or if he was, just check out my Facebook page. It's there. Okay. And the fact that he got a chance to actually just lay it on McDaniels, kind of like what Vegas Ralph did when he laid it on Mark Davis during the Aces celebration. It was cool that somebody actually got to McDaniels and told him how much of a flying schmuck he was. And that was great to see. It was great to see.
Let me give you an interesting take. And this comes from a friend of mine up in the Boston area. And of course they've followed the New England Patriots for years and was never a big fan of McDaniels, even when they were winning all those rings. Here's what he told me. And again, he's not a member of the organization. It's just a fan. Here's what he told me. He said, here is why McDaniels wanted to come to the Raiders, because number one, he was never a good head coach, but he always wanted to be a head coach. If he turned down every other coaching opportunity except for the Raiders, if he went on with the Raiders, if they won, wow, suddenly he was able to do something that no Raiders coach had been able to do for 20 years. If he didn't, he could simply point at the organization and say, well, I did the same as everybody else.
Yeah,
and
he would be able to blame the Raiders.
Exactly. He could blame the organization and say, well, I tried. I did just like everybody else did.
Yeah, but and I didn't really. What's the word I'm looking for? I gave him his opportunities.
Yeah,
I gave him his opportunities. I said, well, we're going to stick with it. He's got to be allowed time to ingratiate himself and to implement and solidify and do all the things that a coach needs to do. And he had 1 year to do it last year. Last year was year one. And I always use the cake analogy. If the cake needs to bake for 30 minutes, last year was the first 10 minutes of the cake baking. And we're almost we're not quite we're about 14 minutes in on the cake. We're not quite the 15. It's not quite half baked yet, but we're seeing the halfway portion. And the halfway portion, it looks like the cake is not solidifying at all. It's gooey. It smells horribly, like some of the ingredients, that the chefs put in are not good. It just isn't taking shape. And I said, we got to give him his due, got to give him his due, got to give him his due. But after what I've seen so far, and the fact that they finally had and this was the big news over the weekend, at least yesterday, that the players and McDaniel had what was a parlance of an open meeting, aka a come to Jesus meeting between him and everybody, and all subjects were able to be put out. I want to see what happens. I want to see if there's actually a semblance of I need to give in here, I need to do this, I need to do that. Because if he's going to continue to use the my way or the highway and not take any I don't want to say constructive criticism, but any input that might be good for the team, then I say get rid of his ass. Get rid of his ass. But we'll see. Your thoughts on the come to Jesus meeting?
Well, regardless of what they say or what they don't say, the bottom line is: do the players actually believe? That the players will say one thing, but what do they truly believe in their hearts? What are they going to disclose? Because again, they're going to get their paychecks one way or the other, and it's all about the money, and the money's not going anywhere as long as they're with the team. But now, what would be interesting to me is to point back to the year 2014, and you probably know where I'm going with this now. Dennis Allen came in as a head coach in 2013. Did not have a good year. Had a 4-12 season. Many people say that we're on the verge of 4-13 this year, and of course, I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case. Then in year two, Dennis Allen went 0-4. Mark Davis went ahead and pulled the plug right away after just 4 games in the year two, and then gave the team over to Tony Sperano. Now, I like Tony Sperano. Tony Sperano had a lot of he to me was a player's coach, but it didn't translate well for the first 6 weeks because the Raiders went 0-10 before they got their first win. But then toward the end of the year, they started to play a little better. Now, here's the problem. If you go ahead and you fire McDaniels right away, question number one is who takes that seat in his place? Number two, is that somebody who could go beyond the rest of this year long term? And the answer to that second part is no. If he fires the coach, whoever comes in is automatically going to be a lame duck. And then you're going to have the finger pointing is going to happen. Then you're going to have players start to point fingers at this person or that person not doing their job. Everybody's going to be out for themselves. And of course, everybody's going to want out of the building. This is not like in Oakland where nobody wanted to be in Oakland because they had subpar facilities and stadium and everything else. This is much different. The money is there. Now, I will backtrack a minute and I will say I love Davante Adams. I love Davante Adams. He is one of, if not the best receivers in the NFL. I don't like the fact that the Raiders organization sold the fan base a bill of goods that they were going to bring in Davante Adams and things were going to instantly change and that we were going to be on the path toward a Super Bowl within 2 years. I don't like that they did that because I think what that did is that raised the level of hope too high for the players to where they couldn't match it. And it raised the level of enthusiasm and hope too high for the fan base who couldn't handle the fact that we were still putting together a team that still was missing quite a few pieces. And again, it became apparent when they were feeding the ball to Davante a lot last year. He was getting his numbers, but they only got 6 wins. Same thing with Josh Jacobs. They were giving him his touches. He was getting his numbers, but they only got 6 wins. When you ignore the rest of the needs of the team and sacrifice that for just 1 to 2 pieces, well, I'll tell you what, one or two pieces on a chessboard can be powerful pieces, but you need the entire chess set in order to be able to win the match.
Right. And actually, I think that, and I've said this before, I think you've heard me say this. They did a bait and switch with Davante, saying, "Hey, we signed your boy. We signed your boy to this contract, so come on in and play with him." And he's like, "Oh, cool. I get a chance to play with Derek, who I can go back, and we'll get that, that rapport back.
Fresno State mojo.
Right, the Fresno State mojo. And it was great until, like you said, he got his numbers. Jacobs got his numbers, but the team didn't come together. Pardon me. And I go back to the fact that McDaniels was pissed off that Carr audibled in Seattle and Jacobs ends up getting the winning he was mad. He was mad that Carr audibled to the winning play. And it was one of those things where it permeated through the locker room. Carr didn't like it. Adams didn't like it. The only person that kind of liked it was, of course, Jacobs, because he had that touchdown that ended up getting him some money. But really, the team wasn't there. And it didn't really get out. But now you can see the festering. Carr was let go. And again, I don't like to talk about Carr because he's the Saints' problem. By the way, they won. And everybody's like, ooh, did you see Derek Carr? No, it was the whole fucking Saints team that won today. Derek Carr doesn't play offense and defense, and he still kind of he's spotty. But they won, so good for him.
Right.
But we're talking the Raiders, and it was they needed to do something. They sold Adams a bill of goods. They took the rug out from under a Carr, and he's gone. And they, like you said, they have a bunch of money tied up in Adams. They got a bunch of money tied up in Renfro, and I want to see where he's going, because I don't see it happening that he's going to be staying. And Tom, I know I'm throwing a lot at you, because
Go right
it's
ahead.
just coming at me at the thing. If they get rid of Renfro, who is an all-pro receiver, granted from a couple years ago, and they get rid of Renfro and they don't get any decent quality for him, and they end up shit canning McDaniels, you got rid of an asset that maybe somebody next year could have used with Adams, with Renfro, with Jacobs. And again, that's assuming that Jacob stays, because God knows what the hell is in the books between now and Wednesday morning. I don't know. But it'll be it. Oh my God! Did you not catch that? I'm sorry. I'm saying shit and still watching the game, but I don't know what's going on. But if they clean house and get rid of a great asset, you better be getting something for him that will work next year, no matter who is in the house. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Well, I mean, and I will just speak on Derek Carr briefly and say that for all the time that he was with the Raiders, Derek Carr was always a good quarterback. Derek Carr was never a great quarterback. And Derek Carr was never going to take the Raiders to a Super Bowl. I don't care what anybody else says. He was never going to take the Raiders to a Super Bowl. Now, he may not take the Saints to a Super Bowl. I mean, he is a good quarterback, but in my opinion, he's not great. And the law of diminishing returns was starting to kick in. We were starting to see bad Derek a lot more frequently than we were seeing good Derek. And every time he would go back in the pocket and start to get the happy feet, I would always get nervous. I'd always be waiting for that next strip sack to happen, or that next forced pass into double coverage. Not to say that other quarterbacks don't do that, but he really made Hunter Renfrow, because Hunter Renfrow was his dependable receiver, much like Fred Biletnikoff was always Ken Stabler's dependable receiver. Why? He wasn't the fastest thing in the world, but he could get open. He knew his routes. And I think McDaniels put the handcuff on those. And I think his offense did not allow Hunter to do the things that Hunter does well. This is a guy who had over 100 catches a couple of years ago. It's unconscionable that they would not allow him to be an active part of this offense in any way, shape, or form. I just don't understand it. Josh Jacobs is going to be gone at the end of this year. He may be traded between now and the trade deadline, possibly. I don't think so, but he's going to be gone at the end of the year. So they better start making hay with Zamir White and Zamir White and some of the other pieces that they have. I was hoping to see more out of Sincere McCormick, that he would come back from injury, but I don't see that happening, and they're just going to have to hit the reset button on that. I'm hoping that they don't decide that they need to draft a running back in the first round next year. That would be just a disaster. But I think that Josh Jacobs is going to be gone. And again, we'll start to see some of the pieces taken apart and dismantled. The big problem that I had, though, in the offseason last year was the fact that they brought McDaniels and Ziegler in as a package deal. You don't do that. You bring in the general manager first, and you start to get things established, and then you make the decision on your guy. And your guy has to be a football guy and somebody who at least has a little bit of pedigree, neither of which McDaniels has. You can say what you want, but all you have to do is look and see the kind of job he did with the offense he led with the Rams back in 2011 after he left the Broncos. They were dreadful. They were miserable. It was only when he came into New England to a solid organization that had a solid defense and a solid coach and a future Hall of Fame quarterback that things started to kind of click. And not kind of click, they really did. But again, this is what happens when you have a short-sighted organization. Love Mark Davis to death. Mark Davis is a Raider through and through. I hear people saying he needs to sell the team. He's not going to sell the team. He's not going anywhere. So we can put that to rest. But he really does want to win. Thing is, he doesn't know how to win. And the reason why he doesn't know how to win is he doesn't know how to put the right people in place to make the right decisions. Can't tell you how many times I pounded the table and said, you need to bring in Louis Riddick and make him the president of football operations or general manager at the very least, and let him do the work. Let him make the decisions. Let him put things together. Mark, you're the owner of the team. You're a fan. That's great. But put somebody in there who's competent, who's got the energy and the ability to do it, and a little bit of a Raider pedigree to go along with. And then step back and trust in the process and let it unfold. What we have now, you can say what you want about Dave Ziegler. I don't know that he's got enough moxie to be able to lead this organization through a couple of coaching transitions and still keep his job, because it's going to be a couple of coaching transitions at least, because McDaniels is going to be done. In my opinion, he'll probably have the rest of this year, but the way things are unraveling now, he won't have past the end of this year. So Ziegler, if he stays on, he needs to go ahead and start circling the wagons and figure out who his next head coach is going to be, unless Mark decides to do what he should have done before, and let's bring in a competent director of president of football operations or general manager, and then let that person alone make the decision.
Yeah, and that was one of those things that I was alluding to earlier. What I've already been thinking about is everybody bitches, and I wasn't one of them, because I said, okay, we're gonna let. Oh my God, I'm gonna barf when I say this. We're gonna let the Patriot way invade the halls of the Raiders franchise in Vegas. I didn't like it, but I was willing to see when you have an organization that does have the pedigree. And granted, you got, and I probably need to bring my hoodie out for this, like I do on the other show, get the hoodie and lean over and kind of mumble into the microphone, with the Bill Bellevue got 300. By the way, he got his ass kicked today. But anyway, you have the pedigree.
Jack, to interrupt you, this means that the rest of this podcast is going to be severely monotone, and no, we're not going to be able to we're not going to be able to keep our audience riveted enough to really be able to do much. So that's kind of where we are.
Right. I'm sure that he made a beeline to the Wild Orchid today after that horrible loss. But anyway, what we were saying is that we let it be. We didn't like it, or I said, okay, let's see. It's not working. I was willing to give it a chance. And the other thing is that I was thinking, okay, who is Raider enough to stay with us in the organization? Who is a Raider that can be the director of player personnel, that can be the general manager, that can do all of those things, that can bring in the coach, that can let things happen? And you said Louis Riddick. Louis Riddick definitely needs to be there somewhere. Okay.
But there is somebody in house.
Okay. I'm willing to let you hear it. I'm willing to hear that, because Louis is my boy. Okay. And don't read into that. It's not a friggin' slander. It's not that's my boy, but he's my boy. Okay?
I got you.
Louis Riddick is the man that can do it, because he's got the pedigree. Okay. In that, I like what Champ did coming over from the Bears. He's at least been here now for 2 years underneath Ziegler. If Ziegler and McDaniels are a package, then we can get rid of Ziegler. Although, like I said, it's Ziegler. If somebody says you haven't fucked up bad enough yet that we're gonna can you, but you're on notice, okay? If you let Riddick come in and you let or let Champ do more of the job and basically have Ziggler as a puppet, that's fine. If Ziggler doesn't like that, then he's gone anyway. But it's like Riddick, Champ, and then you gotta bring in a head coach that has Raider written on him. Okay. I'm gonna say Harbaugh. I know that people don't like to hear that name, but Harbaugh has Raider pedigree. Okay. From years before. I would say the Shaw, that was the Raiders, the Stanford coach, Willie Shaw's son, and has also worked with the Raider organization. Shaw, the former Stanford coach, because I don't think he's there anymore. He has Raider pedigree. And you got to go with somebody that understands what it means to be a member of the Shield. Because these other, like I said, it used to be, there was the Raiders and 31 other NFL teams. And now it's, okay, there's 32 teams in the NFL. And I don't like that. I mean, I do like to be that we are one of a kind, okay? And again, Asylum, I understand about Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn would be a hell of a good coach, but only if the people that are appointed over him bring him in. Because Dan Quinn has zero ties to the Raiders. If the people that run the organization, from the GM and the director of player personnel, so we're saying if Champ and Louis Riddick say, hey, Dan Quinn's the guy, okay, that's fine because they have Raider pedigree. But you better bring in somebody that knows what it means to be a Raider, what the friggin' Shield means, because this shit ain't happening. It ain't getting any better. And I was telling Peggy the other day, if you know you're going to get rid of the guy anyway, do it now. Do it now. Rip the fucking Band-Aid off and let it bleed for a little while before you throw another gauze pad on it. That's just me.
All right. Now, I will tell you who my choice was for general manager before Dave Ziegler was selected. And It may not be any surprise because Mark Davis felt so highly about this guy that he actually created a position for him to become assistant general manager, and that was Champ Kelly. I thought that Champ Kelly should have been the GM. Again, that would have been an excellent hire from the diversity side. If you look at that, because there aren't enough African-American GMs in the NFL. And I'm not saying that just to be politically correct. That's just a fact. Go ahead and give Champ Kelly the opportunity and to do that. Now, having said that, if you put Champ Kelly in place, he obviously would be the one to make the determination of who the head coach would be. But my choice before the head coach was determined, my choice for head coach was Raheem Morris. Now Raheem Morris, again, doesn't have, I know you're scratching your head, doesn't have his pedigree, but hear me out now. He's currently the defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams, and you have to admit the Rams have a very good defense. You have to have somebody who is defensive minded. But he also previously served as head coach for the Buccaneers from 2009 to 2011. More importantly, he was the interim coach for the Atlanta Falcons in 2020. When he took that team over, they could have very easily given up, but they loved him. They played for him. He was a player's coach. He reminded me in some respects of Tony Sperano back in the day. But again, I think I felt highly enough to him that he could elevate the talents of the team and get them to raise their bar. Much like the Falcons did in 2020, they played well. They could have played better, but they were just overmatched a lot of times. Now, again, that's how I would have put it together back in the day. But the important thing was to have Champ Kelly in there and have him make the decision. Now, he probably could have been a much better evaluator of talent from the head coaching standpoint. You mentioned Shaw; he's another guy that was hype on my list. But again, You have to have somebody who works well with the GM, and you have to put together an entire organization. It's got to begin with the lines. I know Peggy would love me saying this, but you've got to develop those offensive and defensive lines. This past off season, what did the Raiders need? They needed a tackle. What did they do to address that? Absolutely nothing. They did nothing. They said, "Well, we're gonna go ahead and take Mumford. He did well his rookie year. We're gonna develop him some more. We'll bring in a couple of other, supplementary pieces or whatever." But they didn't really do anything to address it. What did they do really to address the defensive line? Okay, they brought in a couple of free agents, but they never really did anything to make a splash. Now, I know that there was no way they were going to draft Jalen Carter. There was no way that they were going to bring him in because of the history of drunk driving offenses in the Las Vegas area. That just wasn't going to fly. But there are other things they could have done to address the defensive line position, and certainly things they could have done to identify and upgrade the linebacker position. Two areas that they really have not just not addressed, but I think have been negligent in their reactions toward both the defensive line and the linebackers over the last decade. And again, they had a really good, stellar offensive line up until around 5 years ago. And then Gruden and Tom Cable came in and just wrecked that. I mean, they totally did. They pissed off Gabe Jackson. They pissed off Rodney Hudson, the two stellar stalwarts of that offensive line. And then when they were gone, everything just became a shambles. So you have to get back to the basics. You have to develop those lines. You have to have a good, solid linebacking core. And again, put those pieces together so that, again, when a quarterback comes in, you can be in a situation like Brock Purdy with San Francisco came in as the last player drafted overall. If you've got the rest of the team in place and can play well, then it doesn't take a lot for a quarterback to elevate the rest of the team.
Okay. I hear you about, and I call him Coach Raw, because that's what they call him here in Tampa.
Right.
And Coach Raw is Coach Raw. He is a oh my God, and he is the guy that literally pegged the quote, "Stats are for losers." That is a soundbite. That is a drop. Stats are for losers. That's Coach Raheem Morris that said that. He is a player's coach, but I think if you're going to go there, I would much rather have Dan Quinn. Okay. I would much rather have Dan Quinn because Coach Raw is in my estimation, is a soft players coach. He's a soft players coach. But if you're going to have him come in, and again, pardon me, if Champ wants him, if Louis Riddick, who again we're assuming we're bringing Louis in and Champ is here, and we're going that route. If they want Coach Raw, far be it for me to say, okay, Coach Raw is there, because I know that and that Coach Monotone was with his third, not second team, his third team when he became coach of the Patriots. And by the way, folks, in case you forgot, John Gruden and Bill Belichick were in the office at the same time to become the coach of the Oakland Raiders. Okay.
Right.
It was Belichick and Gruden, and Al Davis went with Gruden because obviously Al Davis is more of and historically it's always been I want an offensive guy and I'm going to control the defense. And I don't think he couldn't have done that with Belichick in place with that.
And if you ask Amy Trask, and this is from her book that came down to the last two, those two individuals, she was probably leaning more toward Belichick being hired.
Right. And Daryl, do not bring back John Gruden. No,
that ship has sailed.
Yeah, well, that ship has sailed. It's sunk. It's at the bottom of the Marianas Trench. I want nothing to do with it. Okay, there was a bathyscaphe that went down and was crushed, kind of like when the folks were going to the Titan. No, No more John Gruden talk. Okay. No, no,
Down to the crushing
no.
black of Davy Jones' locker.
Yes. Yeah. No, no, no. Again, no. No John Gruden. Okay.
No, that's not going to
But
happen.
but bring in somebody that has the Raider mantra, the Raider thinking.
And
And like you
here's the
said,
thing.
Mark needs to turn it over to somebody that has. Go ahead, Tom. I'm sorry.
And I'm only going to disagree mildly in this. I would love to have somebody come in with the Raider pedigree, which is why I mentioned Louis Riddick. But when you're looking at coaches or other players or other pieces of the organization, and you say you want them to have that Raider way, that Raider imprint, well, let's take a look at it. For the last 20 years, that's not been that great.
The Raider
Anybody
way
who's
is
been
losing.
anybody who's been around football for the last 20 years, if you were part of the Raider way, it wasn't such a hot way. It wasn't the yellow brick road. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that. So what I want is somebody who comes in and is competent and has a winning way. Now, the winning is what will transform this organization back to what it used to be. But again, this Raider way, I think people need to get that out of their heads. When people say, "Oh, well, that person's a Raider through and through," well, are they really? Again, I think that we're almost a generation past that now. So what we have to do is we have to develop a winning football attitude, and Raider way or not, that's what it has to come down to. Is somebody competent in what they're doing? Are they able to make progress and able to get their teams to the playoffs? You can say what you want about the Minnesota Vikings, and I'll use this just as an example. The Vikings aren't going to get you to the playoffs every year, but they'll get you to the playoffs 3 out of every 4 years, or probably 2 out of 3, and may have a dud season. That's what you want. If you're looking for a way to kind of establish relevancy with your organization again, you want to make it to the playoffs probably at least 66% of the time over a given time frame. What we have now is not that. Now, again, I am happy to say I'm a Raiders fan, not a Cleveland Browns fan. The Detroit Lions are having a great season this year, but I'm much happier to say I'm a Raiders fan than a Lions fan. The Titans have no fans. The Jacksonville Jaguars basically have no city. You can say what you want, but I will go on record, and I have done this on social media, and I will throw this gauntlet down and tell you that in the next several years, the Jacksonville Jaguars will be the London Jaguars, and the Chargers, because they have absolutely no fan base in Los Angeles, will become the Germany Chargers, whether it's Frankfurt or Berlin or a combination of those two cities. But you're going to have two teams in Europe, and the two most likely teams are the ones that have absolutely no fan base, and that's Jacksonville and that's the Chargers.
That's a hot take. And now I agree. I agree with the London Jaguars, which is why that they have been that's the designated team. Because their owner, it just like the Bucks owner owns an
Right.
not an MLS, a premier team. I think it's Manchester, because I know Manchester United is owned by Glazer.
Right.
I think the other guy, Khan, owns Manchester.
Yeah, I think he does, but they definitely have a strong imprint in London.
Yeah, and so they have the Jaguars team actually has a big foothold on the UK.
And the Chargers are they're just a second-rate tenant in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
they shouldn't even be there
somewhere. They're going. Yeah. I mean, I've spoken, not talking. There's crappy English. I've spoken to folks that are Charger fans. There are a few. I always give Coach, a ration of shit about being like the 3 or 4 Charger fans that are there.
Right.
But if they were to have somebody actually get the stadium issue squared away, they would love to go back down to San Diego, because that's where their fan base really is. Okay?
They won't, because I'll tell you why. Right now, the NFL is doing all they can to cultivate the money. And where's the money? It's over in Europe. That's where the money is. And then, of course, money talks. And of course, if you're going to have one team over in Europe, you got to have 2. To make it viable, you got to have 2 teams. Germany is prime real estate for the NFL. Now, again, if you put a team in Germany, you probably would take the two cities, Frankfurt and maybe Berlin or maybe Munich, and split the regular season games, the home slate between those two different cities. Now, again, that would benefit both of the cities. Those are both excellent travel locations. And of course, if you're looking at taking the game overseas, that's a prime untapped market for the NFL. And of course, the NFL is all about making that money. And if they can take not one but two teams and put them over there, well, now you have the potential of an extra TV package. So you've got games that are televised in non-normal market times. Well, advertisers will love that. And of course, then you have players able to travel overseas for not one game, but two games. And now you're not having any other NFL teams worrying about having to give up a home game to travel overseas. I know Kansas City is really upset that they have to give up a home date to go overseas next week. I know that doesn't float your boat one way or the other, but I'm telling you that the Europe is an untapped NFL market, and I think it's one that's really going to be pursued heavily. And in order for Jacksonville to make the jump to London, which I think they would do next week if they could, you got to have another partner to go to be either in Germany or Spain or somewhere else. And Germany's the logical place. And the Chargers, I think, are the logical candidate.
Well, that would be unique. And I would at least tell Coach, it's like, hey, you actually do got some fans, and they're speaking Deutsch. Sprichst du Deutsch? Well, you better learn it.
Tell you what, Germany would jump onto that team a lot more readily than any LA fans would jumping in, and they would truly have a home crowd. If you want to truly have a home crowd, you got to move that team.
Yeah. And I don't know whether it's going to happen in my lifetime, because I don't know how much longer I'm going to be here, but I think eventually, what is it, 23 now? I would say by 2050, I would say within the next 27 years, by 2050, you're going to have 2 to 4, because you got to do things evenly, like a London team, 2 German teams, and then probably you would need another like a not London team. You'd have to put them somewhere like in Manchester or Wales, or a bigger city in the UK, or maybe even in Scotland, like something that would even it out, so that you don't have 2 London franchises.
Now you're gonna have. I'll back it up, and I'll say by 2030. I say within the next 7 years, you're going to have 2 European teams. I don't know where they're going to be. My guess would be London and a combination of a couple of cities in Germany, but I think it's going to happen by the year 2030. So you'll be around to see it, and hopefully, you and I will be able to meet up in Germany to see our Raiders play the Chargers. Well, of course, they'll probably have to realign everything.
There you go. See, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Once you do that, you're gonna have to have natural realignment.
Yeah.
And people are getting used to, because notice that they've told teams that when you used to have the London game, you would have a bye the next week. But they said to other teams now said, you don't have to have the bye coming back. And like I said, the Bills didn't have their bye when they came back. They actually took their bye at another time. So it's going to be that they're going to have to get used to it. I actually
both
think
of those teams,
both those teams would have to be advantage.
Both those teams would have to be East Division teams, whether it's in the NFC or the AFC. They would have to be. My guess would be, put them in the AFC East. And again, my thinking is on that is you could certainly remove a couple of teams, Miami being one, maybe Buffalo the other, I suppose. And that way you could have the New York team and the Boston team in there. And I see Brian says Jacksonville is rebuilding the stadium in Jacksonville. Okay, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see.
Yeah, Brian, trust me, if you got a guy like Khan with billions of dollars, Jacksonville, they can be rebuilding that stadium because they need a bigger stadium for the Georgia-Florida game. And
right, exactly.
Anyway. Okay, just because they're rebuilding the stadium, they have a hell of the largest outdoor cocktail party is around Halloween each year, and it's when Georgia and Florida invade that house, and that's something good for them. That's a big market.
If the only reason why you're rebuilding that stadium is for the Jacksonville Jaguars,
You're wasting money.
that's not a good investment. That's not a
No.
good business decision.
Yeah, that like I said, Brian, they can say that all they want, but that's not a reason for them to stay.
And
Wants to
I
move.
love the city of Jacksonville. I do. I've been down there several times. I do. I love the river area. Been down there a couple times, but yeah, no, it's not going to happen.
You do realize why the St. Johns River is the only river in the North America that flows north, right?
Okay, tell me.
Because Jacksonville and Georgia suck.
Okay, all right. I guess I could see that one coming if I
There you go. That's an easy one. You know why? Yeah, the St. Johns is the only river in North America that flows north, and it's because Georgia and Jacksonville suck. You can. I usually say Georgia sucks or Jacksonville sucks, but it works both ways. I just threw them both in there.
I did hear somebody say one time that it's bad that when you when you name your river after a John.
Even if you throw a saint in there, it doesn't friggin' matter. But that's it. What's on Ferndale? Now you're on Ferndale? I don't get that. Used to like your takes. Now you're on Ferndale. Kenna, I have no clue what that is. And Georgia Patriot was pissed off. It's true, George. That's the running gag. Okay. Why the St. John's flows north. By the way, fantastic win for your Dogs the other day.
Oh, yeah.
My Gators came out kind of like the Raiders did. They have a great first drive, and then the rest of the game, well, actually they played better in the third quarter and the fourth quarter. But it was like a Raider game. They came out, scored, and then they forgot how to do anything until like late third quarter and fourth quarter. So right, that's why Georgia won.
Let's bring your point back around to Josh McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels.
Okay, there we go.
It's me.
So McDaniels is excellent on scripting the first set of plays. Let's go ahead.
Maybe.
Let's put together the first drive, because if you look at it, they do really well. But then once the defense figures out what they're going to do, it's like they go inside and say, okay, well, we've showed you what we're going to show you. So, we're going to just coast the rest of the way. We're not going to do anything else. You make the adjustments, and we're just going to say, okay, we're defeated. You figured us out. So we're not going to do anything else. We're just going to lose.
And again, there's a lot of people that do that. Like Shanahan with the Rams, he's a scripter. With the Niners, he's a scripter. McVay with the Rams is a scripter. There are people that, and they come from like the Shanahan tree, of scripting. But I can't remember who used to do. I know Shanahan, the elder Shanahan, used to do that as well.
Norv was a scripter.
Yeah. Okay. Well, see, there you go. It was, Norv had got that. I don't know where the hell Norv got it, but yeah, he was a scripter. But you got to be able.
Norv had the benefit of having 3 future Hall of Famers in his offensive stallion or stable.
Well, you need to have somebody that actually, can see what happens after the first 15 plays, and by the way, make adjustments. It sounds to me like somebody that needs to do their homework.
Well, they came out this past game and he said, well, okay, we need to get Devontae the ball because he's not happy. So let's throw the ball to Devontae. Okay. And then, of course, after that, it was just done. It's like, okay, we've given him all of his touches. And yeah. And again, Edward Winchell, I agree. McDaniels is good at absolutely nothing. That is not true. He is good. He is good at putting together a first drive.
Okay.
And other than that, he is good at losing. And not just losing, but losing badly.
Oh, yes. Yes. Like I said, folks, we are the team that lost to a high school coach. We are a team that lost to a D2 quarterback playing his first game in the NFL. We are a team that has lost, I don't know if it's 8 or 10 double-digit leads. It's at least 8, might be 10 double-digit leads. We are the team that lost to what's his nose, Baker
Baker
Mayfield,
Mayfield coming
who
off the
went
bus.
coming off a plane ride where he was given a script. Now, Grant, I will say the officials did kind of help him on that one. Not that, I mean, that was horrible, the officiating call. But we're those guys. We suck. And
Yeah.
it's like I wanted to have the Rob Schneider. Oh no, we suck again. No, we've had that for a while. We do suck again. And that's why I said I don't know what else to do about it. And that's why Tom is here, because we are lamenting. This is a cathartic analysis with our friends, and we'll have, like I said, I know that McDungus was going to come in here talk about his Broncos, and as well as my other buddy. So you can talk about all your other teams when we have a chance, because Tom, before Tom goes though, he is going to drop a very major announcement that I know that I'm see I segued to it. I segued
Okay.
to
All
it.
right. I
A
appreciate
big
that.
announcement, right? That everybody needs to know about.
Okay.
And do you want to do it now? Because we are near the top of the hour.
Yeah, because I need to dash here in a couple of minutes, and I appreciate you giving me the platform and the opportunity to do that. For the past year, I've been doing some research on a little project that I'm calling the Raider 500. And what the Raider 500 is, it takes each number 1 through 500, and it assigns something important or something significant within Raiders history, going all the way back to 1960 and going up to the present, and actually includes, as the 500th number 500 includes the 500th regular season win in Raiders history, which just happened against the New England Patriots. So what I've done is I've assigned a significant event or game or stat or something for numbers 1 through 500. We put that together. Did my own research, and it goes all the way back to 1960. It includes players that you've heard of, players maybe that you haven't heard of, games that you remember, games probably that you've forgotten. I've also teamed up with a friend of mine, Karen Bates Metters, who has been putting together some photographs. We're trying to get it all laid out right now and put together something that we hope will be a nice coffee table type book, which will have the stats and some good Raiders pictures in there as well. This is kind of a celebration of the Raiders' 500th regular season victory. Again, it's in the pre-publishing stages right now, but it's all done. We're just in the process of getting it all put together. So that's something that I've been working on for the past year, and am hopeful that will be out before the end of the year.
Well, you were waiting on that 500th win, because and the way that the Raiders were sucking, you're like, can I please have my 500 so I can finish my friggin' numbers?
They were giving me extra time to put everything else together.
I know.
But
You
it's all
will.
together now. So I'm
Well,
hopeful that we'll
that's a
get it
good
done by
number
the
though.
end of the year.
Yeah. Okay. And again, Tom Jones, the great historian that he is, and it will be a fantastic book. And like I said, where the hell is it? Where the hell? Okay. I always make sure that people know the good things to buy. Like I said, make sure you are buying The Walk.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Good book.
Make sure you're buying The Walk, which is my buddy Violator's book. So
Wayne
when
Mabry.
when Tom puts his book out, see, I've lost crap from up here already. I gotta put that, it fell. I gotta clean my room. When Tom gets his book out, I will pay. I'm not asking for a freebie.
I
I
get the
will
freebie.
pay. No, well, okay, but I just wanted to make sure that I get a signed copy.
You will.
Okay, and then the freebie might be the one that I actually read, because I don't break the ones that Wayne signed to me. I don't break the bridge on that. That's why there's no crease marks in
Gotcha.
that book,
Gotcha.
because I don't want to break the bridge on it. I want it to be a pristine book that I have. So if I get a freebie, fantastic, but I will pay for at least one, because I want one to be signed and one that I can actually read.
Gotcha.
So I'll go from that.
Well, I hope to have some more information on that in the coming weeks. But again, it was a lot of fun to put together. It was a lot of work to put together. But again, it's something that we Raiders fans can look at and acknowledge and embrace 64 years of history right now. And again, I don't think that there's another fan base that does that, celebrates everything going all the way back to the beginning. If so, I'm not aware of that. There are other teams that talk about history going back. You've got Bears fans and Giants fans and Packers fans, yes, but they don't acknowledge every single piece and every single year and era of history all the way through. Raiders do that, and that's just something that sets us apart from all the other organizations and franchises, not just in football, but in all professional sports.
Right. And I mean, there are fans of the Bears. They don't remember that they were actually the Chicago Staleys.
Right. Decatur
They don't know.
Staleys.
Yeah.
They
right.
were the
Decatur
Decatur
Staleys.
Staleys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And actually, that was the Bear, because I had a chance to be with the Bear, Hollywood and I last week, and he actually gave us some candy from the bowl, which was really pretty cool. You know, I got a nice Hershey nugget from him, but his name was Staley. And people probably, the young people that don't know history, they have no clue why he's called Staley.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know. But I am looking forward to that book.
And they probably also don't know that the AFL New York franchise was originally the Titans.
The Titans, right. Or that damn Kansas City team was the Dallas Texans.
The Dallas Texans. Yep.
They don't know. Some do.
And the reason why they had to move to Kansas City, and again, this is just something that I'm sure you know, but maybe some of the younger listeners don't know. The NFL so desperately wanted to sink any efforts of the AFL, the American Football League, to put together anything that they gave Dallas an NFL franchise specifically to put the Dallas Texans, the AFL franchise, out of business. And basically, they said, okay, we're going to create an NFL team in Dallas, and we're going to do everything we can to sink the Dallas Texans. And Hunt said, well, okay, I can read the writing on the wall. I can't fight the NFL, so we're going to move our team to Kansas City. So the NFL did that, just like they yanked the rug out from underneath Minnesota that was supposed to be the franchise that ended up being the Oakland franchise. So so they did not want people to have pieces of that pie, and they were going to do everything they could to keep it in as a small number as they could, so they could keep that pie to as big a slice as they could for the people that were already in there.
There you go. And I said the rigmarole, the riffraff, the bullshit, the behind the scenes things, that is the business side of the NFL. And I'm going to ask this real quick before you go, Tom. And I know that you weren't ready for it.
That's okay. No.
But what are your thoughts on, and I think that it's going to be coming to fruition pretty soon, the Gruden trial. And if he's really going to stick it to the NFL, or is he going to cower at the very end and take it out and get the money, and then just leave him not twisting in the win? I'm hoping that he's true to his word.
He'll take it out and get the money.
I kind of so.
I mean, as much as I would like to say he's going to stay in it for the long haul, he'll get it out and go quietly and get the money and go out and live his happy life and know that things could have been. But again, I don't think if he looks in the mirror, is going to say, what would this really benefit me? How would this really benefit me to take this fight all the way to the end? It really wouldn't, I don't think. So I think that they'll get a settlement. He'll walk away nicely. He'll be paid handsomely, and eventually we'll see him back in the building in Vegas as a spectator, maybe sitting with Mark in the box. But that's about it.
Which is unfortunate, because this is, I think, is the only opportunity that I can think of that you can have the NFL twist in the wind, and all of those skeletons that need to come out of the closet and be exposed are just going to stay there, and it's unfortunate.
And they
It's
will. And I think he understands that the greater good will not be served, I think, to just take the whole NFL and run them through the mud, despite the fact that I think they deserve it. But again, Goodell's going to be gone at some point, hopefully sooner rather than later. You'll get somebody else in there with competent leadership. And again, the NFL is a money machine. And again, Gruden's going to walk away with a handsome reward. But they did him dirty, and they absolutely did. And I think there's anybody that's anywhere close to the situation would acknowledge that. I'm not giving him a pass on the things that he wrote in emails. I'm not saying that he was right in those things and wrongly convicted, because again, if you do something wrong, there are consequences, and I think he's feeling that. But again, if it hadn't have been for the hatchet job that originated, and I think it was really collusion between Goodell and the guy whose name I will not mention, who used to be the owner for the Washington franchise. I'm not even going to call his name. That was a total hatchet job, and somebody had to take a fall, and they said, okay, well, this is going to be the guy who's going to take the fall for it. And it just so happened at a time when the Raiders were having a good season again, so. I'm bitter about that, but again, not as bitter as some other people, because again, bad things just have a tendency to happen to the Raiders organization.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because again, I want to see good things.
Oh, do I think we all do.
And I honestly, and I don't say this to be morose, but I'd like to see them hoist the Lombardi while I'm still, breathing in air and exhaling carbon dioxide. I want to see that because then it gives me substance.
Now, Jack, if we win out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like that's going to happen.
If we win out, and then go on a little bit of a run, we can win that Super Bowl and hoist the trophy in Allegiant Stadium.
Oh my God,
the home fans.
Tom, boy, I don't know what you're smoking. I have no clue what you're smoking or what you are, shooting in your veins. But I can't have that. It's bad for me. It's bad for me. But I like your. Maybe it's shrooms. Maybe it's magic mushrooms.
Hey, if you believed in angels in the outfield, anything's possible, right? we can only hope. And of course, with the fact that we were able to make it through a Sunday and not suffer a miserable Raiders defeat, we've gotten through today, but now we'll probably end up feeling all the same way Monday night after we finish with the Lions, or the Lions finish with us.
Right. Well, I mean, and I'm going to say, this is going to be my out cue for you as well.
Okay.
There is hope. There is hope because we're going to bring Clayton in pretty soon, whose Broncos beat the Smugs today. So I can't wait. I mean, I said when I have the show Wednesday with the Wild Wild West show, when I have
Richie's going to be out of control.
Wednesday,
Richie's going to be out of control.
Wonderful. I'm just going to, just do this. Now, granted, unfortunately, the Garglers are winning and beating a very horrible Bears team, but there is hope.
Can you ask Rich to at least share the formula
of how to beat them?
Yeah.
Well, apparently you need to have Mahomes suffer an illness.
Yeah, and snow.
I don't know. Okay, but anyway. Yeah. Hey, Tom, thanks for coming in tonight.
Hey,
Again,
Jack,
I'm sorry that my eyes are
No. Thank you so much. Thank the listeners, and I look forward to jumping on with you again very soon. My work schedule is going to be changing at some point, so I hope to be able to jump back in with you guys on Wednesday nights. But in the meantime, I look forward to Raiders every week, win, lose, or die. We're not going anywhere as far as our fandom goes, and we'll just continue to keep as positive and upbeat spin on the season as we can.
You got it. Hey, again, Tom, thanks again. Look for the book coming out, hopefully by the end of the year, if not early next 2024.
I'll keep you posted. I'll keep you posted and give you some sneak peeks on that between now and then.
Okay, and you can put me on the cover.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like the scare roaches out of your house, man. There you go.
All right, Jack. Thanks so much, and we'll see you all later.
Hey, Tom. Thanks again, partner. You take care. Always a pleasure, shipmate.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
All right, that's Tom T3. Oh my God, my eyes are it's a lot of screen time and doing things. I will get to sleep pretty soon. To beat the Chiefs, I like this. I like Georgia. I like Georgia Patriots saying, and we're like I said, we're going to be joined by obviously my boy Clayton, who he did call it. He said that we the royal the Broncos were going to beat the Chiefs. Now maybe he gave Mahomes, I don't know, I don't know what sickness. I didn't watch the game. It wasn't televised locally. I saw the very end of it. The very end of it. I'm getting the link in a minute. I haven't put the link up yet. So remember, for the final portion, for the final 45 minutes, okay? The final 45 minutes of the show, come on in and talk to me. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk. Like I said, Clayton's going to at least talk about 5. I'll give him maybe 10 minutes talking about the Denver Broncos. I'm being kind because, again, they won. Mundungus was here earlier, and I don't know if he's probably not there anymore, which is why I got it. But it will be fun to see. It will be fun to see and hear Wild Wild West on Wednesday. 25 minutes, shoot. It depends if we have nobody else come in. If we have nobody else come in, you can't have the Swifty at the game. Yes, that's one thing. You can't have Taylor Swift at the game. Well, let's put it this way. Unless she's doing a concert, check because that's one game I'm not going to. I'm not going to the Kansas City game at Vegas because of my schedule. I still got my tickets for sale. And I'll be honest. I got basically one offer and the guy backed out on me. That pisses me off. One offer, and it was like, oh yeah, well, yeah, I kind of wanted 3 tickets. Well, then why did you say you were going to buy 2? If you're going to make an offer, don't be a dick. I've had some. I'm kind of pissed off at that. Old Raider fans are used to losing. Us younger fans are tired. That I like that comment, Francisco. That's true. Actually, old Raider fans are used to winning, and we've only gotten used to losing the last 20 years or so. Okay. I agree with Ed. We're not used to losing. No one used to losing. We've become accustomed to it the last 20 years because old Raider fans are used to winning. When I was a youngster, we were winning. The reason why I am a Raider fan today is because 50 years ago, actually 51 years ago, the Raiders won everything. Took them a while to win the Super Bowl, but they were always kicking everybody's ass. It was always they would lose in the AFC Championship game. That's when they used to lose, and that pissed me off. But okay, well, cool. Got Jeremy coming in first. Hi, beat you, Clayton. We will hear from the Clayton and the Broncos in a minute, but we're going to hear from Jeremy first. You ready to go, buddy? You're first backstage. He's okay. He's getting his Raider hat. He's doing his lighting. He's making sure everything's cool. Okay, so yeah, I can't hear you until you're here. I know you're backstage. I can't hear you until you're actually on. We're going to start with Jeremy, and then we're going to go to Clayton, who's going to talk about his Denver. I'm being kind today. Denver Broncos, because they won. I'm not calling them the Donkeys today. I'm not calling them the Donkeys. I'm calling them the Broncos. Let's talk with Raider Nation for Life 21. Jeremy, what's going on, brother? Good to hear from you.
Oh, it's nice day today. I can't believe you're letting the Denver guy on.
Well,
are
no,
being nice.
no, because Clayton is a fan of the show. He's cool. This is for everybody. If you hit the link and you want to talk to me, I let Gabe on. He's a Giants fan. I let what is
I
it?
just give
Jared
him
on.
heck.
I get Jared on, although he can't figure out how to do the fucking link yet. He used to call in all the time. And I said, Jared, fix your phone. So I have to listen to him via the phone. I can't do it. It's like hit the link. But Jared is a Steelers fan. Okay.
Yeah,
So there are people that come in. So it's there. So yeah, Clayton is a cool Denver fan. So what do you got for me tonight, brother?
Oh, man, I just listening to what the other guy was saying before me. I didn't get to catch his name. The gentleman was on
T3 Tom Jones. T3, and he has his stuff on Twitter. Just look for T3 on Twitter. And if you go back to,
I'll have to make a Twitter account. I don't have a Twitter account.
Okay, well, he does what is it? His podcast as well. He comes on when he can, but yeah, look for him. That book is going to be great because I know the quality of work that Tom does and the amount of time that he devotes to historical stuff. It's going to be great.
Right. I seen that Violator Raider book too. Where did you get that at? Where could I find that at?
Well, you can get that on Amazon.
Amazon?
Yeah, you can get that.
I didn't know that was that's awesome. I met him. I met the Darth Raider. Do you ever see Darth Raider? Do you talk to him?
Yeah, I see him at the games because he's actually the second Darth Raider. I actually knew the original as well.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I did not know there was a second.
Yeah. The original Darth Raider actually had the full gear.
Did he actually quit following when we moved to Vegas? Or did he pass or what?
I don't know what happened to him, but the original guy had the full suit.
Yeah, because I read that one of them was going to stop following when they left Oakland to Vegas, but then I seen him still at Vegas, so I thought it was the same guy. So maybe that's why.
No, well, you might be thinking of I can't remember what his real name is, but Dr. Death.
Dr. Death, yes, that's probably who I'm thinking of.
Dr. Death stopped being a Raider fan when they were moving to Vegas, and I'm like, okay. And man, I know Dr. Death very well. And the other thing is that he was younger, and he was getting acclimated into his life, as a businessman, and I think he might be, getting married. So it was easier to say, I ain't doing this anymore, and I got other things to fall back on. So yeah, good for him on that respect.
Yeah,
but he stopped. No, I'm not going to be a Raider fan anymore. So and he got a lot of hate for that.
Yeah, I told you they were pretty angry in Oakland. They didn't like that too much.
Yeah, apparently Brian says he's a Niner fan now. Okay. Well, he's sitting on a 3-game losing streak. So
yeah, that's hilarious too because I got some Niner fans. I had one rubbing it in for me last week, and then she went home and had to watch them lose Monday night. I'd laughed.
Yeah, and then they lost today. I mean, they got whooped today.
Joe Burrow is really messing up my fantasy league.
Why is that?
Because every time I bench him, he scores points.
Well, then don't bench him.
Well, I tried to write him out, and he was giving me 5, 10, 5, 10, and then I took him out and put Stroud in, and now Stroud's going. I can't win, and I'm not going with Hoyer. I do not like Hoyer. I don't even know why he's a Raiders quarterback.
Well, we kind of went over that. And by the way, I think it's official that Garoppolo is
playing Monday
quarterback. And Jack Kenna was saying, can we call the coach by our nicknames for him yet? And I'm like, the answer is no. It's still Coach McDaniels. You can call him. You can, and I will accept in the chat McDummy. I will accept in the chat McDummy, because that's fine. And I agree that a lot of his calls are stupid stuff. I get it. But I'm not going to disrespect the guy because he is the coach of the Raiders up until a time that he's not our coach anymore.
Yeah, and I, honest to God, think that Mark Davis is not going to let this guy go. I really think he believes in this Patriot way he wants to install. Like, I don't believe in it myself, but, I really feel like he's a firm believer. He's trying to buy into it real hard. I know that's not what we want, but, like, I mean, when the fans are telling him at the stadium and he's reacting, like, he's telling people to get smarter. He's not going to fire them. And then, did you see the video where they had him where he was like, dumbass? Well, I'm sorry. They caught him, saying, dumbass, use your head.
Yeah. I want to address something real quick. Okay. Francisco, I appreciate you watching my show. Okay. I appreciate you watching my show, but I'm going to say fuck off on this one. Okay. I'm not showing him respect as a loser. I'm showing him respect that he is still the coach of the Raiders. And there's a difference there. There's a difference there because I'm older school. I'm not going to call him, and I'll say what Kenna calls him. Kenna calls him McShitnuts. I'm not going to call him McShitnuts. He's Coach McDaniel. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff he does. I think that his play calling is abysmal.
His game management is abysmal.
Right. But because he is the coach of my team, I have to show respect that until such a time that he is no longer the coach of the team, I'm not going to call him stoop to that. And the reason why is this. You are just you, okay? Francisco Pancho, you're Francisco Pancho. I'm not saying that I'm all that in a biscuit, but I am known. I'm known. And I don't want anybody saying that Captain Jack called him that because that's disparaging to my character as well, okay? And I don't play by, I like to try to have respect amongst everybody. So I won't stoop to that. And I tell Kenna, you can't do that on my show, and he doesn't do that. So Francisco, I say kindly, you know what? Fuck off. Because this is my show. And I appreciate you watching. I do appreciate you watching, but this is my show, and I'm not going to stoop to it. That's my way. And again, if you don't agree with it, that's fine. I thank you for your views. I do. Okay? I thank you for your views, but I'm not going to do it. And again, there you go. I'm not a celebrity. It's just it's me. It's my personal thing that okay, for example, and this is a good example, okay? I was in the military and I have leaders as a chief petty officer. I worked for some real assholes that were the officers appointed over me. But to my sailors, I had to toe the line when they were pissed off at the officers appointed over me and said, hey, Lieutenant McDaniel is still the boss. Until such a time that he's not the boss anymore, you will respect the rank, if anything. That's what I'm saying, okay? So if you understand what I'm saying, until such a time that Coach McDaniels is no longer the coach of the Raiders, there you go. And you can give me a thumbs down, Francisco. That's just, it helps the algorithm anyway. Thank you, Gay. It helps the algorithm, but that's me. You can do what you want. Thank you for your view, but fuck off on what you're saying. Okay? I'm not going to do it. You can go follow all the other content creators here that do that. I'm not going to do that because this is my personality. I'm sorry. URL anyway will be long gone when I'm still here cheering for a winning. Okay, good. Yeah, fine, Francisco. And may you have many, many years of a winning culture. And yes,
how old is this guy? He's got to be like 10.
I don't know, Francisco. they want to know how old you are. Okay, they want to know how old you are.
Because I don't agree with him. I'm a little younger, but I'm not. I mean, come on.
Okay, thumbs down. That's fine. You know what? Again, I haven't banned you yet because I'm not like that. You can have your opinion here, but that's just not me. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I went on a big tangent. Go ahead and talk about what you wanted to talk about, because Clayton's going to come in here and talk about his Broncos who won today after you're done. And if you want to come in, after that. And I asked Francisco, you can come in. You can come in and we'll talk. And I won't ban you unless you do something that's bannable.
Right.
Francisco is really Jack.
Is he still mad?
No, I don't think so, because I don't think Jack Kenna knows how to have multiple thing. I don't even know how to do multiple taglines. I don't. So that's not a slam at Jack. I know I don't know how to do it either. Go ahead, partner. I'm sorry.
That's awesome. No, excuse me. Yeah, I'm hoping that we go in there tomorrow and smoke them. But if we do, it's not going to look good for him. I mean, it'll look good for him, but not for us. I mean, I've always got to hope that we're going to win, no matter who the coach is. I mean, I'm live or die, ride or die, win, lose or die, win, lose or tie, Raider till I die. There you go.
And here's the thing. I don't know if you were here earlier, because I was talking about the McDaniel had the big open meeting with the team. It was the come to Jesus meeting with the team. And I don't know if anything, he said it press reports are saying that it was a good meeting. Okay?
Yeah, everyone vented. I read that too.
Yeah, they vented. Now, if something comes out of that, great. But we'll see. Now,
that line is, I don't know. We've got some issues other than that. That's good that everybody's getting that out, but I don't know if that's going to help us win with the issues that we have. As far as we've got to protect the quarterback, even if Garoppolo's back, if he can't stand up long enough to throw the ball, if Devontae, I don't know what the issue is between him and Devontae, he hadn't practiced all week, so they're not going to be on, they're not going to have the, I guess you could say, the touch that they, chemistry.
Yeah.
That they had. I mean, I don't understand, because against the Steelers, they were tearing them up. And nobody tears up the Steelers, or nobody has been tearing up the Steelers like that in the last few games.
Mm-hmm.
They've been pretty stiff on their defense. But I don't know. It's just frustrating. It really is. But I understand. And he made a valid point earlier, and I wasn't thinking about it, but John Gruden did tear that line apart, because that line was nice and tough. And he started pulling one, and then it turned to another, and then before you know it, the whole line fell apart.
Right. Rodney Hudson was getting a little older in the tooth, and Gabe Jackson was asking for a larger contract at about the same time. And so they shipped them off. They shipped off Rodney to the Cardinals, and they shipped off Gabe to the Seahawks. I don't know if I don't know what I know Rodney retired. So Rodney's out of the league. I'm not sure if Gabe Jackson is still there.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I'm not sure.
And that's I like Trent Brown as well.
Well, no, but see, I called him Twinkies on Twitter.
Because he was lazy or what?
Yeah, well, yeah. All he did was bitch on Twitter and eat Twinkies. He was getting fat on our money. Okay.
We have a lot of players that do that, don't we?
Yeah, we do. And Francisco, that's the one thing I agree with, is I want Aiden O'Connell. I don't call him AOC, because AOC is the bitch from New York. Okay. I call him Aiden O'Connell or AOC4, because I don't say who he is. Okay. Because again, I met the O'Connell family last week in Chicago. I'd want Aiden O'Connell to play. It
Yeah.
ain't happening.
We all do.
I agree with you there. That's one thing I agree with. But other than that, and I get Clayton, don't worry. You'll get a chance to gloat about your Broncos in a minute. What other things? And like I said, what do you think is going to happen tomorrow? And I've even said this. I'm not a drinker, but even I will probably have some. Was it sangria? A glass or 3 of sangria tomorrow night watching the Monday Night Football game, because you're going to have some alcohol.
Oh, listen, for me, it's hard to watch all the games. I call them the heart attack Raiders, and because they give me a heart attack every game. I mean, even when we had Derek Carr. Now, I was born in '82, so I've only been around for one Super Bowl, and I was too small to remember. Know what I'm saying?
Right.
So since I've been alive, that's why I like Gruden so much, was because it's the closest we ever came to the Super Bowl. I felt like, that was I don't know, I never understood the whole trade them, then go play him in the Super Bowl against the team he built, and then Belichick tried to flip everything at the end. We had our center disappear and end up in Mexico. And then the Tuck rule, that was probably the most. I hated the Patriots and Tom Brady for the rest. I mean, I still can't stand them, but it really put that's probably the maddest I've ever been over a football game, where I had to just go home and go to sleep. I wouldn't talk to no one. My night was done. My day was done. But that was the closest we've ever been to a Super Bowl for me as a Raiders fan.
Yeah, and
So,
I have to say this, that when I don't know what you did, but you said you had to go home. When I saw the Tuck Rule game, I was in the middle of the North Indian Ocean bombing the Taliban and bombing Al Qaeda.
oh
So
wow.
I didn't go home. I was on an aircraft carrier after 9/11. So that's where I was for that game, right? So I
At least you
couldn't
could
go home.
vent your frustrations. You could bomb
Well,
the.
yeah. Well, here's the funny thing is that the senior chief that was in charge of the space where I was a chief, right?
Yes, sir.
He told his division. He said, "Do not engage with Chief Levy until he talks with you." After the game, he knew how pissed off I was.
That's
So
awesome.
He told the division, he said, "Do not engage with Chief Levy because it won't be pretty." So when he starts talking with you and there's an opening, then you can talk to Chief Levy. Otherwise, just leave him the fuck alone.
I heard that.
Leave him the fuck alone. So he told everybody in the division. So it took me a good. I'm sorry, I said my eyes have been tired for the whole show. It took me a good 10 days to 2 weeks to get rid of the bile that was in my system. Okay.
Oh man, yeah.
Okay.
Man, that was a sad day. I mean, I know that was a fumble. I know what a fumble looks like. Charles Woodson nailed his ass. And then I hated Tom Brady because he ever since that was a liar, and then Deflategate proved it,
Yeah.
But long story short, I'm still a Raiders fan. Like I said, since I've been a fan, it's always been heart attack Raiders for me. I mean, we either go up by a lot or we win at the last minute. And that's one thing I did love about Derek Carr is he could do some game-winning drives. And then after he got hurt, he just wasn't the same quarterback anymore.
Right. And far be it to me to say that he is property of the Saints, and they can live and die with him.
That was one of my favorite teams, actually. Amari Cooper, Michael Crabtree. Let me tell you something about Michael Crabtree. I'm from Amarillo, Texas, right? So I'm up where Lubbock is, and Lubbock is Texas Tech. So I'm from where Mahomes is, of course. But besides him, anyway, I love our Raiders. I love our Tech players. I was really, really, really hoping that Tyree Wilson was going to do a lot better than he did so far, but he's really let me down. But
I still say that give him an opportunity through the end of the year. He's coming off of plantar fasciitis. He's gone through seven NFL games with very little camp, and he did have a sack last week, so he's coming around.
Yeah, well, I'm just like I said. I love to watch my Red Raiders turn into Raiders. Like I'm a big Red Raider fan too. So yeah, I'm a big Red Raider fan as well.
Well, hey, thanks for coming in. And Francisco said he called in. Okay, fine. Hit the link and show up. Show up.
Hey, you're from Florida, sir?
Yeah, I live in Florida.
Have you been there your whole life in Florida? Is that where you're from?
No. I'm originally, I was born in Chicago, Great Lakes Naval Hospital. So last week was kind of a homecoming, although I don't really remember anything about Chicago.
Right.
I lived in Philly as a kid. So my sports love comes from being in Philadelphia as a kid and following the Raiders in Philadelphia, not the Eagles, but the Raiders. And then moving down to Florida with my family. So I've been in Florida since '74.
It's just you're like me, like that's where we don't fall off as Raiders fans because we've always been Raiders fans and we live in other states. So it doesn't matter where they go, we're still going to be a Raiders fan.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to the guy, like you said, Dr. Death, who decided he didn't want to be a Raiders fan no more because they left the city. Like you said, he probably had prior engagements and other responsibilities. But
like I said, it's easy to fall away when he said, "Hey, I'm not going to support it," because he's like, what the Niners fans were saying that they're true to the Bay or whatever that bullshit is. Okay, so maybe they are, but you don't give up your team. A real fan doesn't give up their. And again, Clayton is a Broncos fan. He lives in Wisconsin, and he stays with his Broncos. So it's cool. You stay with your team. And Jeremy, I'm gonna get Clayton on here because Francisco.
Sir. You have a good night. Thank you.
Oh, hey, thanks for coming in, partner. Always.
Hey, I love talking to you, brother. You have a good night. Raider Nation.
Raider Nation. That's Jeremy, I believe, is his name. It's Jeremy Flores, Raider Nation for Life 21. Guareb lives in St. Cloud. I know. I live in Orlando. Dude, I'm from, I graduated in Orlando Colonial, Guareb. We'll have to meet sometime. I'll come over and meet you. I think we've gone through that. But yeah, Ozzy says, and I like this, quarterback is most definitely the issue. Carr had his flaws too, but Jimmy sucks. I agree with that. And Raiders are averaging about 17. That's true. But it is an offensive issue. It is a quarterback issue. It's a play calling issue. I agree with all of that. So we're going to hear. I'm going to give. I can't wait. He's going to be so hot. There you go. That's an ugly logo, but I'm giving it to you tonight. How you doing tonight, brother? And great win today, by the way.
Hey, thanks. How you doing? Man? It's a little chilly in Wisconsin today, buddy.
Wisconsin. I think it was like 80 degrees outside here in Tampa. So,
oh wow, no kidding, eh?
A balmy.
Oh, I got my blanket. If you can see, I got my blanket, my gloves, and my hat. It's 37 degrees, and we had our first flurries this year. So.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, I can't. I get cold. I get cold anything below 60.
Oh, no kidding, eh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I that's my joke. I said anything below 60 is freezing to me, but I get cold. I mean, because again, I'm not used to it. I mean,
there's a big difference. If you get, like you say, from Wisconsin, you're used to it all 4 seasons in 1 day. So yes, sir.
Yeah. But talk to me. I didn't see the game.
I had
no clue. All I saw was the score. I saw 7-3, 14-3. Then it was like 14-6 or 9. Then I saw 21-9. I'm like, holy shit! The Broncos are doing it. The
outstanding game. Outstanding game.
Yeah, talk to me about it. What I mean,
I think, like you say, for the most part, we had obviously we played the Packers. We had the same concept. I think exact same thing, but better defense. We ran the ball, like say, well over 100 yards between both running backs. Even McLaughlin, our third running back, he got a couple carries. Man, stats show it. Russ is being Russ, using his legs a little bit, throwing the ball. receivers stepping up a little bit. Jerry Jeudy had an awesome game, and our defense just, I mean, we were just going to shuffle them away. It was pretty sketchy, but these last 2 games, man, we've been playing lights out defense.
So I got to ask, does Jeudy stay with the team now that you guys show that you can beat one of the best?
You know, I think for a while back, I'm a stickler. If you got talent, I'm a stickler. You got talent, you got to use it. I personally think we keep both of them. We're thriving. Jeudy stays. Obviously, PS2 stays. The other guy, our other main guy, Sutton, he stays. He really does. Yep.
Well, Sutton is your best receiver, not Jeudy.
Yep. So we're starting to open it up, and we're really starting to open it up. Like you say, we have a lot of talent, and you know, when we run that ball and chew up that clock and keep that offense off that field, I'm telling you, we are a very dangerous team, and it shows the last 2 games.
Yeah, if you have a drive. And your defense obviously came through today. Now I want to address the elephant in the room, and it's not me, even in my belly. Okay, Mahomes was sick. Okay,
Yep.
How bad was Mahomes playing today?
You know, I mean, like you say, that's just part of the game. You get paid all that money, but I believe he came down with a little bit of something. But like our defense came a little bit down with something too. Like. We played like Travis Kelce, 58 yards, outstanding. Gave up a couple good plays. Travis Kelce is going to do that. Same with the running back. They're going to make plays. That's what they get paid to do.
Right.
But deep down, our defense, unbelievable.
Well, and a great win today. And again,
it was huge. Like you say, I'm glad. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and I was gonna say, people were saying you should have won 2 weeks ago. I didn't see that game either.
I mean, it's a horse apiece, you know, close but no cigar. But like you say, 2-game win streak. We're playing very, very well. A lot of people think this bye is, you know, we should keep on playing games, but I think we need this bye, rebound again, refresh it, and then, you know, we're gonna go for a run. I truly do. I'm always positive and let's go. Obviously, you know, losing sucks. You know, I'm old school, man. Losing just sucks when you're really good for a long time, and you just suck.
Yeah, and even Brian said that they should have won 2 weeks ago as well because it was close, right?
It sure was the last games. Like I said, I mean, I was kind of nitpicky. I've been a Bronco fan for a long, long time, and then you know, our defensive coordinator, I'm like, oh man, but you know, we gave him some time, gave him patience, and now we stuck with the game plan. And so far, you know, these last 2 games, I mean, stats don't lie about Russ, and then our defense. So excellent.
I'm doing this for because what's his nose, Francisco, because he says, "Where's the link? Where's the link?" I said, "Okay, Francisco, I'm going to put in the link because obviously, you know, I want him to come in and again we'll talk now. He's saying I'm sick of losing. So,
well, you know what I mean.
You could be sick of losing, but I'm still going to support the team.
Yep, and you can look at me. Like, say, you got your Giants buddy, you got your Raider buddy. You know, you got a lot of fans out there, but. Hey, I'm a Bronco fan too, and I watched him lose for many, many years, but I still pump. I still get mad. I call them, I don't want to say it, the F them Broncos, because sometimes at the end of the day, I'm like, they done it again, F them. But, you know, they're really starting to come around, though. Their true colors are, they're coming along, which is great to see.
And I will also say this, and I agree with Brian here as well. The Broncos should have won week 1. Against the Raiders. They should have won week 1 against the Raiders. I because Garoppolo had the pick, you know, when they got, and I know it was a close win. I mean, it was like a year ago that we beat the Denver Broncos at the home opener. I don't even remember how we won. I just remember we won.
But you know, like you say, being a fan or being a team, a win's a win. I don't give it sloppy, messy, neat, 5 overtimes or whatever it is. You get that dub, baby. Let's get it. You know.
Right. And I agree with Georgia Patriots. The captain, you posted the link and he disappeared.
You're gonna. Hey, you know what? The fans out there too. Everybody's listening. You're gonna get all them people. You're gonna get the haters, the downers, cool people, awesome people. Well, you traitor. You like him. You don't like him. Blah blah blah. You know, but deep down inside, at the end of the day, you're still a fan. That's just how I look at it. You know.
And the way that I look at it, like I said, Mark Davis is still the owner. I don't think he's a great owner, but he's still the owner. Well, technically, okay. For all technicalities, Carroll Davis is the owner of the Raiders.
Yep.
Okay. Carroll Davis is the owner of the Davis. of the Raiders, and she lets her son run the Raiders, but he's not the owner.
Yep.
Okay. So there you go. And he's still the owner, in technicality, and I still call him Mark Davis. Okay. He doesn't have a good. Oh, Francisco came in. Good to see him. We'll have Francisco come in after we hear from here.
Well, like I say, I'll give him a minute or two, but like I say, today was a very good day. Obviously, we got that win, and today was a very good day. Today it was a little chilly, so my son today I played with him outside, and he learned how to ride his bike without his training wheels today.
Nice.
So that made me very proud. I could see. I took pictures, and he glowed for a good hour and a half. Dad. He said, Dad, no elbow pads, no knee pads, no nothing. And I go, are you sure? Kids are going to be kids,
Right.
But he got on it, and I didn't see him. And, it was just a wonderful thing, man. It made my day.
Okay. Well, makes my day to have people come in and talk about their team.
Of course.
Don't get too cold out there. I know you're used to it.
Oh, yeah. I got layers on. Like I say, I got my blanket, 2 sweatshirts, my hat, and my gloves. I always come prepared, Cap.
Okay.
And the top off my night. I do DraftKings. I do a draft picks. So the Broncos won a lot of money, and then same with the Dallas Cowboys. And I paid for some bills, and I'm doing good. So today was like a perfect Sunday, Cap.
Good. I mean, I didn't make any money. Like I said, I don't bet because first off, I don't have a lot of extra money to do that shit with. So I will keep what I have.
Oh, yeah. Some people do, some people don't. No sweat if you don't do. You know what I mean? But when you do and you win, it's just great.
And we'll do that. Well, again, congratulations, Clayton, on your Broncos. And remember, I'm calling them Broncos.
I know. No donkeys today, man. Thanks, Cap.
No donkeys.
Let's go. So, but anyways, like I say, we'll cut it short. And like I say, it was great coming on, and I will be with you for the Wild Wild West because I'm always I follow you guys everywhere, so I will be on the show. I'm not on the show. I'll be listening to you guys and having my comments.
You'll be in the comments, and that's always. All
right, Cap. Well, the wifey's going to work, and then you have a great night, and then I'll talk to you. I'll text you on Wednesday.
You got it, brother. You take care. Thanks for
coming. Yeah, you as well, buddy.
All right, that's Clayton, who did get a chance to come in about his Broncos, and I'm glad to see Francisco is here because I put the link up, and there he is. Okay. Guareb says Broncos are definitely better than the Raiders. As of now, they are. They have a bad record. They do. They have a bad record, but they are a better team. I know you're here, Francisco. I'm going to add you right now. Okay. And I know you're not scared. I'm just saying, come in and talk about. You say that I'm wrong. Okay. I can do, like I said, I am the way I am. I'm older than you. Yes, I'm old. You say, well, you're old. Yeah, I'm old. Okay. But I think that you should at least respect folks that have been I've been a fan for 51 years. Okay. First off, people wanted to know how old you are. Are you, Francisco?
I'm 40 and I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of losing.
Okay. But are you, so you're saying that I'm not tired of losing?
No, you support a culture of losing, and I'm sick of it. I'm tired of fans like you who just keep supporting these horrible coaching decisions, this horrible owner, this horrible organization, and I just want to win. I'm tired of supporting a losing team.
Okay,
done losing.
How am I supporting McDaniels when I say I don't like his calls? I think that he should be changed. I think he should be removed. I think the Raiders should have another head coach. How am I supporting McDaniel? The only thing that I do is I respect the name. I don't say I'm not going to call him McShitnuts.
He doesn't deserve any respect. He doesn't deserve any respect.
Well, hey, the last time I checked,
look what he did to the Broncos. Look what he did to the Broncos.
Okay.
And look what he's doing to the Raiders.
True.
Look what he's doing to the Raiders.
Okay. I'm saying this. Okay. I respect the position. It's like when you're in the military, you got to respect what they have on the collar.
This ain't the military.
No, Francisco.
Okay? This is a football team.
I'm talking right now. I can mute your ass, but I'm not going to. I said you respect the position. You don't have to respect the man. I don't respect what McDaniels is doing. Okay? I don't. I want him gone. I do. I
Apparently,
want him
no. You
gone.
respect the guy.
I respect the position. You have to respect the position.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No,
Yes,
I
I
don't.
do.
I don't respect him. No,
Okay.
I want him gone.
Okay, I want him gone too. So how are we different?
See, I actually call for it. I actually support getting rid of him by signing the
I do
petition,
too.
and you should
Okay.
advocate that too. You should
Okay.
advocate sign the petition to get rid of this loser. Okay, and start the healing process now for this team.
Let me ask a question. Okay, is Mark Davis going to do anything that the people want because there's a petition out there? Is he going to do that? Is Mark Davis going to sell the team because people want him to sell the team? I'm asking you because obviously you're more of a truer fan than I am.
One man went on YouTube and Twitter told Mark Davis to fire McDaniels, and it went viral. One guy, one Raider fan did that. If we all did that, McDaniels would be gone before the end of the year.
Do you know who that guy was?
I could look him up.
Well, no, I know who the fuck it is. It's Vegas Ralph because I know him. I know Vegas Ralph. He was the same guy that Mark Davis kicked out of the stadium last year because he had a sign that said, "We deserve better." I know him.
We do deserve better.
Do you know Vegas Ralph? Do you know Vegas Ralph? Because obviously you're a bigger fan than I am.
I'll tell you what, any Raider fan that thinks they're more Raider fan than me, we could always meet up wherever on street beefs and whoever. Hey, anytime. Bring your fans. I don't care. I'm not afraid. Bring them on. Who are you gonna bring on?
Okay, so now
anybody.
It comes down to a physicality. It's a physicality thing. Like you're gonna kick my ass because you're more of a Raider fan than I.
Oh, you're a senior citizen. Any of your friends, your young friends, any of them. I tell you, if I lose, I will stop being a Raider fan. But if they lose, you stop support. You stop being a Raider fan. How about that?
Your attitude is you are more of a Niner gangbanger. You're more of a Niner gangbanger, bang Niner gang. Because
I'm not Graf Raider. I'm not a Niner fan. I'm not Raider Honcho, the Giants fan. All right, that's not me.
Okay, but you're saying that you're more of a fan than I am, and you've been a Raider fan. You're 40-something years old, so obviously you've been a Raider fan for 40 years. By the way, that's bullshit because you have to have cognizance of knowledge. So when you were a kid, what was your first memory that you had as a Raider fan? You were what, 3, 4 years old? So subtract that from your age. That is how long you've been a Raider fan, okay? I've been a Raider fan for 51 years because I was 7 years old in 1972 because that's when I was exposed to the Raiders. So I've been a real Raider fan for 51 fucking years when I was 7 years old in Philadelphia, okay? So don't tell me that you're more of a fan than me because you live in California and you support the team, okay? I support the team even when they make bad fucking decisions. I support the team. I always support the team here.
When they financially, at the very least, when they're making horrible decisions for over a decade, okay, over 20 years. Okay, there's a limit. There's a limit. Okay.
Are you a season ticket holder? Are you a season ticket holder?
No way, huh? No, I haven't supported going to a game for years now because of this losing culture. Okay,
but you're more of a fan than I am, and you're not even a season ticket holder.
I don't support a losing team like you do.
Okay.
I don't waste my money supporting a losing team. It's to go
how do you support the team? How do you support the team? How? I'm asking. I'm curious as to how you support the team.
I buy the merchandise. I support the team. I go to games when I can.
Okay, and that's it.
That's about it. Yeah, right now.
You sign petitions.
I'm not like you. I'm not going to go support a losing team and come on here and pretend, oh, everything's fine. And like, oh, I've been a fan for 50 years. Get the hell out of here. I'm going to be here when you're gone. And we're, hopefully things get turned around after you, like you are dead in the ground and I'm still around. So,
okay, well, first off,
can't wait till that happens. Cannot wait till that happens because you guys are part of the problem.
You don't know that.
Are the problem.
You don't know.
You are.
Francisco, where
good
do you live?
riddance to you guys. Okay? Good riddance.
I gotta mute you. I'm gonna mute you right now because you're not listening to me. Okay. I will unmute you when I want to hear your fucking words. Okay. First off, okay, well, fuck you too. Okay, but you know what? Bye. I gave him his due. Fuck you, Francisco. Okay. Fuck you, Francisco. Okay. Hide user on this channel. Okay. Bye. Fuck you. Fuck you, Francisco. I don't know how to ban him, or I will ban him. I'm sorry. I gave him his due. And I'm going to show this from John Leon because and Jeremy, I have a policy, basically only one visit per show. I appreciate you wanting to come back in. Okay. That was what I wanted to say to the asshole before he flipped me off. He's 40 years old. He lives in California. I didn't get a chance. I wanted to ask him where he lived. Because you know what? I can die tomorrow, and so can he. I'm not wishing it on him. But I will wish that you need to get a fucking clue, Francisco. I will say that. Get a fucking clue. Actually, I will use what Mark Davis said, use your head. Okay? I don't support Coach McDaniels. I don't. I have to support whoever is coaching the Raiders. You see what I'm saying? You gotta respect the position. Well, it's not a military thing. Well, fuck you, Francisco. You wouldn't have lasted 2 fucking minutes in the military. And if you were in the military, I know you ain't now. So fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Thank you there, shipmate. I appreciate that. I don't respect. I'm more of a fan than you are. Fuck you. I'm not going to support the rape by, okay, I am a season ticket holder. And here's the thing. I wanted to sell my tickets to the Kansas City Chiefs because I'm not going to be going there. And I tried to have a Raider fan sit in my seats. And I got 0 offers from people that are Raider fans. I got 0. Actually, I got 1 and the guy backed out. I got 1 offer and the guy backed out. So, I needed 3 tickets. You're only selling 2. I'm not going to sell. Okay. Should have told me that to begin with. I'm not saying I'm more of a fan than anybody. I don't like that shit. Oh, you're a super fan. I don't use that term. I don't like that term. People who, and by the way, I've gone past 2 fucking hours because this show, I would love to do this show again and show it again. I'd love to do it and show this again, but I can't because it's past 2 hours. So I can't. So you're going to have to tell people that if you want to see Captain have a conniption fit against somebody who's ignorant, and Francisco, you're fucking ignorant. I don't support the team. Blah, blah, blah. Are you a fan of the Raiders? Are you a fan of the Shield? Fuck you. I'm not more of a fan because I'm a persona. I'm not. I show my I show my support for the team as a persona. But he's more of a fan than me. Fuck you. That's not a fan. He definitely lives in Oakland or LA. And again, it's not about, I'm not saying that you have to go to games. You don't have to go to games. But if you're going to support the team, support the fucking team. And don't just fucking bitch, moan, and groan. Because I'm telling you, everything you sign and everything that you bitch about, guess what? Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. Not one goddamn thing. And I'm sorry I used GD. You can sign a petition. You can go give Mark Davis a certificate for all the hot wings for the rest of his life from Hooters and all of the what is it? Whatever the fuck PF Chang's has, because I like PF Chang's, but they're overpriced. You can give him certificates for all the nookie he can have. And it ain't going to change a fucking thing because first off, Mark Davis doesn't own the team. His mom does. Second off, he ain't going to do anything that you say he has to do. I will say that I applaud my friend Big Daddy, who went up and spoke to McDaniels today. I'll say that as well. Oh, I got a message. I gotta talk to. Hang on a second. Because he went and said McDaniels, and he told him how much of a dipshit he was without calling him a dipshit. Okay. Oh, I got other shit. Okay. Wait a second. I gotta. Okay, good. Did that. Anyway, so he's a bigger fan. He's a bigger fan than me. Fuck you, Francisco. Okay. Been to 2 games in my life, going to my 3rd this week. There, Georgia knows it. I will see you this weekend, Georgia. And like I said, I'm in section 126. And Georgia and I will get some pictures together. Okay. It's great. And I appreciate that. And I gave Francisco the opportunity, and he was still talking over me. He was still talking. That's ignorance. Ignorance. Can't fucking stand ignorance. I don't. I have zero tolerance for ignorance. Okay. Zero tolerance for ignorance. Okay. Let's see. I got to put it up. Ozzy, Port Adelaide. Coach problem, we've had like 15 head coaches since I've been a fan, which is over. The problem right now is quarterback. That's true. And I fired Graham before JMD. Graham can't. Well, I the defense was playing better. The offense is still not there. If you're going to fire somebody, I would say that you fire the guy that's running the offense. If it's McDaniels and people are saying that he's running the plays, then you fire his ass because the offense ain't doing shit. And the one thing that Francisco had right, they're averaging about 17 points a game. That's true. The defense was playing better up until they went into Chicago, and I watched that shit personally, but I'm not as much of a fan as Francisco is. Fuck you, Francisco. I know McDaniel's the coach. I call him McDummy. I will accept McDummy. But it's something that I can't do. I'm not going to call him McShitnuts. Jack Kennel wants me to call him McShitnuts. I'm not going to call him that. It's Coach McDaniel. He'll be the coach next week and the week after it. I think so. Okay. And Guarev, who, like I said, we'll have to meet sometime. We all need to be angry at this organization. Shows around YouTube. We need an attitude and show we're not taking this shit. Okay, I get it. And Guarev is very negative. I hope you don't mind me saying that, Guarev, because I get that vibe. Guarev is pretty negative when it comes to the Raiders, right? But at least he stays with the team. But he at least knows that he can be negative, but there ain't going to be shit happening. There's going to be nothing. It won't change until it changes. Until Coach McDaniels is no longer our coach, not going to change. Until Jimmy, and I will say, I call him Garbagepolo. That's about what I will call him. The problem is he's the only guy the quarterbacks that's won games for us. Technically, he is the winning quarterback on this franchise. I know it. He barely beat the Denver Broncos. And we had to come back and beat the Packers and the Patriots. Okay. So we'll go there. And Brian, I don't know about this. I don't know if he's going to be a coach again because he made a mistake and probably doesn't. He has the money. He doesn't want to spend it. He doesn't want to spend it. Okay. But anyway, he's more of a fan than me. I mean, and he talks down to me. That pisses me off. Am I wrong that I finally got rid of him? Am I wrong? Can't wait for him to into the news winning culture. Hope he does it before tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow night. I hope so. Anyway, and Brian is correct. He has a 3-year contract. And Mark has made some bad decisions. Oh, did the Bears finally score a touchdown? Oh, yeah, this is a 2-point. No, they didn't get it. The Bears are going to lose badly. But then again, we made them look like, Super Bowl champions. I don't know if remember Mark Davis fired. This was stupid. This is stupid. Mark Davis fired Jack Del Rio after he gave him a big contract extension. So he fired Del Rio, was paying on that contract. And then he gave Gruden his ridiculous contract. So he was paying off on those contracts at least. And there's according to people that were at the trial, that he is no longer paying for Gruden's contract, which I would have to believe. But I don't know. Mark Davis is the de facto owner of the Raiders. We need to bend down and do everything. We need to bend down and do everything that Francisco wants because he's more of a fan than any of us because he doesn't support a winning culture. But he says he's still a Raiders fan. So are you a Raiders fan or not? I didn't get a chance to ask him that because he was so ignorant. I didn't get a chance to do that. Oh, and I'm going to be around. Well, you know what? Maybe not, asshole. Because with an attitude like that, you might not be. Fucktard. I don't know. Anyway, that was a little heated. And he doesn't even know who Jack Kenna is. Jack, I don't know if you're still here, but he doesn't know who you are. He doesn't know who you are. I thought everybody knew who Jack Kenna was. He says, who is he? Is he a rival? No, he's not a rival. Guess he doesn't watch my shows enough. That's fine. About 25th, mostly due to Jimmy and Hoyer. So that's true. Jimmy has left 119 points on the. Oh, okay. And I'm sure that this is because I know that Ozzy does his statistics well. 119 points on the field. Okay. Raiders defense versus passing yards is 11th, but in touchdowns given up is bottom 10. Okay. I'm sure that, and he can back it up. Okay. What else? Defense come on. Defense versus run. How is 25th in rushing yards? They just got gashed last week. Tied 28th in rushing touchdowns. While Graham sucks and the pass defense is overrated due to Green Bay game. Spillane's interceptions. True. So basically, we got to get rid of everybody. Francisco is the offspring of I don't know what that is. Of an alien? I'm, and by the way, Jerry, thank you for being here. It's always good to see Jerry. If you don't know who Jerry is the person behind the wonderful South Florida Raider. Oh, is offspring of vomit. Okay. That I can agree with. Jerry Lopez and his crew with, and I can't remember her name, will be leading the charge in Miami in a couple weeks. When the Raiders go down to Miami, it'll be a fun time. But I'm not supporting a losing organization. I'm going down to see the Raiders play. And they'll probably get their asses kicked. I don't think they're going to be have a 70 burger laid on them like they did against the and I'm sorry, Clayton, I got to call them the donkeys because anybody that gets 70 points thrown on them is a donkey. But that's it. I think we'll keep it under 70. I think. Now, if they score 73, which is the record, if they score 73 and McDaniels and Graham isn't fired, then there's a problem. And yes, I'm doing it an extended because Francisco got me all riled up like Kenna did a couple years back. I'm glad I can fucking cuss at least. Mr. Singleton, thank you for being. I can't wait to see you in Miami as well. Still waiting on a clone. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, Mr. Singleton. Still waiting on a clone. And yeah, John, come on. Yeah, I got rid of Francisco. I don't know how to ban him though. I don't know how to get rid of him. I just know he can't do comments on this show. I don't know how to ban him. I tried looking in the 3 dots on his side of his name. I don't know. Oh, good. Get me a clone, sir, please. Please. Thank you. Georgia says, and I like this. They score 50 plus. McDaniels don't start cheating. Then I think the Raiders. Like I said, if they score 50, and you notice that they haven't scored, like the Bills kept them honest. How many points did they score the other day? Brian says it's 70. I don't think so. I think our defense is better. And I think the Broncos have a better defense as they showed today, but I just don't. I don't see the Dolphins putting 70 on us. They might. I don't know if he's still here. I'll see if I can go back in the chat. I got rid of his comments. I'm not sure if he's still here. Okay, yeah, let's see here. I can unhide him. I can report him. I can remove him. I don't think it doesn't say anything. Is banning removing? I can report him. I don't. But I can. Can I remove him? I don't know. It says these are it says report, remove, put user in timeout, or unhide him because I hit him on the channel. So that's your opinion. I cheer for the Raiders. I'm like, okay, well, see, and this is the type of the back and forth I have with John Leon and Ed Winchell and Jack Kenna. Like I said, I appreciate everybody being on the channel. And John, I gotta agree. I gotta agree with Ed Winchell here. Okay. I gotta agree with Ed Winchell. Okay. That's why I told Jack, I said, hey, don't call him McShitnuts on my channel. Respect the position. Respect the position. Respect the name. Until he's not coach anymore, then you can call him McShitnuts all you want. I'm just saying, remove. I think I removed him. Remove? Okay, let's see here. Remove? Yeah, I push remove. So I think he's removed. Okay. Yeah, if you guys can do it, go ahead. You want to ban him, go ahead. Yeah, I am the host, so remove. Okay, must be different. I don't know. But yes, it is a long show. I've gone over 20 minutes. My eyes are fucking tired. At least I can swear. And I don't know if as long as I was civil. Oh my God, China. You missed it. You missed it. Good night, Ed. Hit me up tomorrow. And I get the car support, and I've had it up to here with car support. Good night, Ed. Sheila, yeah, you or China, you're coming in very late. You got to go back. Got to go back and watch. I give people their due. I gave him an opportunity to come in here and talk. I did. I gave him and he did, right? But he didn't offer me no respect. He flipped me off. He wouldn't allow me to talk, and it's my show. But he says that he's more of a fan than I am. So one more time, Francisco, fuck you. Double bird. Yeah, it was, watching the Bolts win. That's yeah, go back, China. It's enjoyable. It's entertaining. Entertaining. So, okay. Oh, it said Let's see here. I looked at my flight. I'll be in Vegas. Noon. But it was a heated conversation. Anyway, go back and look. Forget watching the soap operas. Let me play that. Yeah, it's entertaining. I hope I was at least respectful, Brian. I hope I hope I maintained. I tried. It is. We had a good show with. By the way, go all the way back, China, because T3 Tom Jones was on. Great show in the first hour. So yeah, I will be there. I will be there Thursday around noon. I'll be there Thursday around noon, and then go from there. I'm gotta go to I'm the one hotel I'm at Thursday night. I gotta go to a different hotel on Friday. But such is life. I'm getting ready for the Crab Fest for the Blitnikoff Foundation. Go ahead and text me, GA. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to see you because Thursday I got to do stuff. I don't know what. Friday is maybe I'll go over to depending upon might do a radio spot on Friday before. Actually, that's at the same place. I just thought of that. So, because they have the dinner at the same place where the radio is. So I might be there early. Okay. The Milli Vanilli documentary? Nah, I don't give a flying fuck about Milli Vanilli. Honestly. Anyway, we're gonna cut it right at the 2.5 hour mark. I'm gonna do my outro. I thank everybody for being here. I thank Francisco for making this entertaining as well. I do. Oh, there's a private chat. Let's see. Thank you there. Francisco stated. And this is the height. This is the height of ignorance. This is the height of ignorance. He says that he will prove that he's a bigger fan than me than basically by meeting me outdoors, like meeting me and kicking my ass. I said, dude, that's Niner gangbang shit. Gang, Niner gang. Bang, Niner gang. Right? Really? And I'm an old man. Well, that's true. I'm older. You said I'm a senior citizen. It depends on what you call a I am AARP, so in that respect, I guess it's right. What day is the bunny ranch? Jerry, I would love to do the bunny ranch, but I found out that that's actually the bunny ranch is actually up in Reno, and that's like an 8-hour drive or a flight. So I can't go to the bunny ranch. I can go to Pahrump. Anybody over 65? Well, then I'm not a senior citizen yet. I'm not a senior citizen yet. Bunny Ranch is Sunday after the game. I tell you what. If the Raiders win Sunday, I might go. We'll see. Maybe. Oh, this is something I'm remembering when the Raiders had the Vikings and Chargers. There's that week in between. Maybe I'll do it then, because I will have time to do it. So maybe that'll be a Bunny Ranch tour. Anyway, I gotta go. Thank you for coming in and joining the show. But one more time, fuck you, Francisco. Take care, everybody. We will see you Wednesday. Wild Wild West is Wednesday. And next Tuesday, we'll have another show with Peggy. So y'all take care. Be well. Remain Raider fans, true Raider fans. And we'll see y'all next week. Take care.